All right, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're taking a highly structured, totally objective deep dive into Genesis Gold Group. Look, if you're trying to protect your retirement savings and you're wondering if these guys are the right fit for your wealth strategy, you are in the exact right place. We've done the heavy lifting, synthesizing all the industry data, the fine print, and real customer experiences to give you the complete picture.
Okay, here's our roadmap for today. We're going to quickly cover 6 key areas: the 2026 gold rush, who Genesis Gold actually is, a true cost breakdown, the good and the bad, some alternatives, and finally, our verdict.
Let's kick things off with part 1, the 2026 gold rush. To put it simply, gold is having an absolutely historic moment right now. As of July 2026, prices crossed $4,170 per troy ounce. That's roughly a 25% jump year over year. And honestly, it gets crazier because it briefly touched an all-time high of nearly $5,600 back in January. The volatility out there is very real, and the stakes for your retirement have literally never been higher.
But what's really fascinating here is that this surge isn't just retail hype. No, it's being driven by massive institutional moves. Get this, central banks added a net 41 metric tons to their reserves in a single month. Toss in a weak June jobs report, and you've got major banks like JP Morgan projecting gold to hit $5,000 an ounce by Q4, with Goldman Sachs right behind them targeting 4,900. So all this economic uncertainty, it's perfectly setting the stage for companies that offer gold IRAs.
Moving right along to section 2. Who exactly is Genesis Gold? Well, Genesis Gold Group is a Beverly Hills-based precious metals dealer that opened its doors in 2022. The 3 founding partners bring a combined 50 years of industry experience to the table, but we need to clarify what they actually do. They act as a dealer and an IRA facilitator. That means they act like a bridge, linking you with IRS-approved third-party custodians and heavily insured depositories. They don't hoard your gold in their own vault. They just make the connections happen.
Where they really stand out in what is a very crowded market is their brand identity. They lean heavily into a faith-based marketing approach, focusing on the biblical stewardship of wealth. They also use celebrity endorsements, like actor Neil McDonough, to build a really strong sense of trust with their target audience.
All right, part 3, let's get into the true cost breakdown. So pinning down the exact costs can honestly be a little opaque depending on where you look. Independent research shows Genesis Gold's annual flat fees ranging anywhere from $150 to $345. Even their minimum investment requirements seem to bounce around from as low as $5,000 all the way up to $30,000. This perfectly illustrates why you absolutely must get fee schedules in writing. Actually, quick tip, if you're an American retiree with $100,000 or more in an IRA, grab a free independent gold IRA guide to check standard industry fees before you ever get on a sales call. It's a total game changer.
Now, looking at their setup process, it's your standard legitimate dealer flow. You open a self-directed IRA, roll over your funds tax and penalty-free, and then pick your metals. But notice that very first step we just talked about. Secure that guide first. It arms you with the knowledge you need so you can confidently push back if a salesperson ever tries to overcharge you during the metal selection phase. Which leads us nicely into section 4, the good and the bad.
Let's start with the good. They boast an impressive A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, and there are tons of 5-star reviews out there praising their dedicated IRA specialists. People love their patience with newcomers and the smooth handheld rollover process. If you're an investor who really wants that relationship-driven, phone-based experience, this is a huge plus for sure. But we also have to look at the flip side. We uncovered a highly detailed, frankly concerning complaint. An investor nearing retirement rolled over a 401k and was aggressively steered toward quote-unquote private market rare coins. The hidden markup on these coins? A staggering 109% over the spot price, which is just the base melt value of the gold. Because of that massive premium, the moment the gold hit their depository, the investor's portfolio value instantly plummeted by 54%. Ouch. When we weigh these pros and cons, you can see a highly compliant, legitimate business that partners with fantastic depositories. But the cons highlight a massive structural risk in this industry, buying premium collectible coins without written price disclosures. Plus, Genesis doesn't have an online purchasing portal. Every transaction requires a phone call, which just inherently introduces the risk of sales pressure. Let's jump to section 5, comparing the alternatives. How do they stack up against the heavyweights in our 2026 data poll?
Well, Genesis definitely holds its own on having a potentially low annual fee, provided you lock in that $160 rate. But they lack the long-established track record of industry giants. You've got companies like Goldco with decades of history, or Lear Capital, which offers a much lower barrier to entry with just a $7,500 minimum. And for some contrast, look at Augusta Precious Metals. They require a massive $50,000 minimum just to get in the door, but for that premium price tag, they offer lifetime zero-pressure educational support. It beautifully highlights how different models suit different investors. Genesis is really built for the faith-based relationship buyer, while a company like Augusta is geared toward the high-net-worth data nerd.
Finally, Section 6, our final verdict and next steps. So, what's the bottom line? Is Genesis Gold Group right for you? Well, if you heavily value a relationship-driven, faith-based customer service model, they are a completely solid, legitimate option. But, and this is a critical but, they are only right for you if you are willing to advocate for yourself and demand to see the exact dealer markups in writing before you purchase anything.
To sum it up, Genesis is a very capable IRA facilitator. However, the burden of protection is entirely on your shoulders. You absolutely must avoid the high-margin, exclusive rare coins that generate those scary one-star reviews. Stick to standard bullion, demand your fee schedule in writing, and always compare at least 2 providers before signing on the dotted line. Which brings us to the final and frankly most important takeaway of this entire explainer. Listen, if you are an American retiree who has worked your whole life to build a nest egg, and you currently have $100,000 or more sitting in an IRA or a 401k, the current market volatility and the dropping purchasing power of the dollar is a very real, immediate threat. So before you move a single dollar to Genesis Gold Group or to any other dealer we talked about today, you need to arm yourself. There's a link below to download a completely free gold IRA guide. Use it. Use it to thoroughly compare your options. Learn exactly how to avoid those hidden 109% markups and properly secure your financial future. Because at the end of the day, if you don't aggressively protect your wealth from market crashes and hidden fees, who will?